Hi there and welcome back to Japan, and of course we're listening to more Babymetal as part of a little series of videos I'm just doing for today. And of course we're now working our way through the middle of Babymetal's second album. The third one has not come out yet at time of pressing, although they did announce in April that it will be coming out this year. My chair is so squeaky, I don't know why. Oh, it stopped squeaking now. How ridiculous. Anyway, we had two songs just now, Amore and, already forgot my name, Metataro, which were really good songs, but they both relied on sort of a big anthemic style melody. And, you know, so I'm interested to see where we go with Syncopation, because a good album is something that flows well. Doesn't necessarily mean doing the same thing on each track, which I would never imagine Babymetal would. But I'm really interested to see where Syncopation goes. I'm assuming we're going to go for something a little bit more high tempo here, would be my guess. Or is it going to be 3 big slow songs in a row? Well, let's find out. This is Syncopation, and if I can just cue it up, let's go. I think fast was the right call. I've always had a soft spot for fast songs that break down to just drum, bass and vocals. I don't know why. Good chorus. I love the sort of counter of the melody and the backing. Wow, they really are going all out on this one. This is kind of like I'm saying, yeah, we did 2 calm songs before it. We need to remind you we're metal. For the best part though, this actually does sound a bit like Babymetal does Bandmade. I really like this chorus. Gone right back into Babymetal territory here with super deep guitars, riffing, crazy synths, and of course the big anthemic choral style chorus. Nice touch. Nice. Sorry, these new glasses aren't settling very well on my nose, so I'm going all the time, readjusting them. Ugh, try and stop. Anyway, yeah, so Syncopation, that to me sounded, like I said, that sounded more like a band-made song for parts. I know they had they added, and nothing wrong with this actually, is all to their credit, they added those Telltale Babymetal, I guess you could say metal, but I'm saying in this context Babymetal signs of having like the instrumental break, which is like really drop-tuned, growling, throaty guitars, and then crazy sort of stabby synths wavering over the top. You know, it had those Telltale Babymetal signs, but for the best part, that rocked along like a band-made song, just with everything turned a little bit more growly on the guitars. For example, you listen to the drum beat was like a straight hard rock beat. I mean, this is one of the things, we come back to that old thing that a lot of the time, you know, we have genres blur a lot. I mean, there's so many different types of metal, and I do accept there are differences, but you've got black metal, death metal, thrash metal, you know, there's like a million different types of metal, and a lot of the time genres blur. And I do think that a lot of the time hard rock and metal blur in a way that is very kind of confusing. Like some of the things that you're told are not metal, but are significantly more heavy and metal feeling to me than some things that are metal. Yeah, you know, it can be very confusing to fit in these genres, but just to give you a basic sort of guide, I think that was just sort of played out in more of a band-made way for the best part. And you know, it had that sort of rocking along thing where the drums were sticking more to a charging beat rather than concentrating too much on double kicks and things. There was a sense of charging along and then adding fills where needed. The guitars were kind of just rocking the chord pattern, except for when they were doing, like I said, those more metal, Babymetal-esque, you know, drop down growly sections. And there was kind of a fairly safe riff at the beginning, which I say safe as in, you know, safely fits into the hard rock genre, but that was quite a finger twiddler. So basically, you know, I mean, this is not me sort of judging it too much or anything in that context, but just saying I think that's interesting. That seems to be the direction that this song's going in, is more of a hard rock direction than necessarily a metal one, although it is drawn up in the sort of, you know, the metal clothing, the metal image. So Syncopation. Now, for me, yeah, there's a possibility of that getting into the top 10, partly because I am probably more, my personal pedigree probably more aims towards things like enjoying hard rock than metal. I mean, I do love a lot of metal, but I think I like a lot more hard rock. So there are a lot of things about this personally appealed to me. It will take a few times to go around. I mean, I do think, like I say, I thought the chorus was interesting. There was a really interesting hook written into that. I love the counter between the melody and the backing, carried a lot of emotional punch, but was also quite sing-alongable. I will be interested to see how re-listenable that is. That's always the difficult thing with choruses. You can sort of look at them from an analytical standpoint. You can say what kind of choruses are good to re-listen to. I mean, interesting, one of the ones that came to mind, and unfortunately I think I've forgotten the song name now, but it was oh no, I've remembered it. It was one of the bandmade ones, Don't Let Me Down. I remember saying at the time when I first heard that's the sort of chorus that's going to get annoying quick, because it just goes round and round and round. And to a degree, it's not exactly the most rewarding chorus of all, but I have found that after listening to that very many times, it hasn't really started to grate on me. It has lost a bit of the impact, as anything does after a few listens, but hasn't started to grate. So I'll be interested to see with this, is that one of those choruses that will stand the test of time? In a lot of ways on paper, I think that's the sort of chorus that will not get tiresome too quick, because it's got kind of its own feel. It doesn't immediately scream of being melodically too similar to anything else, although I'm sure anyone could, you know, there's only 12 notes and so many ways you can write them in the Western scale, so I'm sure someone can pull out an exact copy example of something that has the same chorus, but you know, it seems quite different on that front. Yeah, I just love the whole way that was delivered. I enjoyed it. It appealed a lot to me. Yeah, maybe it's not exactly them pushing the experimentation button too much, but I do think that it shows, if from a writing perspective, it shows an interest in, as this whole album does. I think everything with Babymetal, they always show an interest in wanting to not make two songs sound the same, which is something that when I first heard of Babymetal, and obviously as you guys, if you've been with the channel for a while, you'll know that before I started embarking on this whole thing of listening to them and reviewing them, I just sort of heard of them through their first album, a couple of singles, and then kind of pushed them to one side for years before coming back to them with this channel. And you know, good 4 or 5 years, however long it was. And you know, it's something where just based on that image that I had at first impression, just subconsciously what I had thought of them, and I think what a lot of people thought of them subconsciously from when they first came along, and just saw the sort of first idea of, you know, the fusion of cutesy J-pop and metal, and sort of thinking, well, that's their one trick. it would have never occurred to me, especially, and like I say, metal does have a habit of, there are some genres that do this, but metal is one of those genres where it can get quite samey. If you stick to being metal in that way that metalheads will sometimes, well, the more ignorant metalheads will tell you, that's metal, you know, the less open-minded ones. Well, they're probably not listening to Babymetal anyway. But if you stick to that, then metal can be quite a samey genre. So considering all those things, I don't think I would ever have believed that I would have been sitting here saying that after listening to now the vast majority, almost all of Babymetal songs to date, the thing which really stands out is that they do find a way, whether it just be something small in the writing that isn't immediately obvious, or whether it be something on the production, they find a way of making sure that their albums, the executive producers looking at it, making sure that the album has variation, that no two songs become too samey. And so on that front, this one I respect as all the others, but this one just happens to veer a little bit towards my taste. I do like my hard rock. So yeah, I'm going to give us a few more listens, see how it goes over time, but this is a strong contender for the top 10. But for now, from Japan, we're going to be checking out GJ next, which will be the last in this particular little series of 4 videos, but obviously I'm going to keep on doing the Babymetal until I rock them all off. But yes, either thank you for tuning into this, or hop on over and follow us with GJ now, or go and check out any of the other videos I've done of Babymetal or any other bleeding band. There's so many now. For now, ciao.